David, let's start with the state of the squad. Any sort of fresh injury concerns from last weekend?
No, everybody available. Everybody healthy. Had a good week of training. We'll have another session tomorrow before we travel to Millwall. So looks like the same squad like last week.
Just in terms of a bit of a sort of status update, I suppose, in terms of those who are out. John Rowe, I think he played for the 21s last Friday. How's he kind of responded to that? Has he responded in the way, sort of fitness-wise, that you would like him to respond to that?
Yeah, he had his first 45 minutes, which was great. A good week now with us. He will play on Monday again for the under-21s, longer than only 45 minutes. And then I think there will be the moment where he is in contention for the squad as well. But we should not underestimate that he was out for a long time. He is doing very well. I'm very pleased with everything what I've seen, but we all together, I think, have to be patient.
And Shamswaf Quaheta, whereabouts is he? I think it was early March was the target, was it, in terms of him rejoining training?
No, he will not. He will need time.
Right, cool. Good stuff. You mentioned there kind of a good week training. How good and important has it been to have a clear week? It's been a busy run of games, hasn't it, before this? Has it been nice to kind of get the lads on the training pitch and put some work into them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously on one side you love to play football matches. This is why we all together have this job, because we love to have this competition. But on the other hand, if you now have so many midweek games like we had, then obviously you are desperate to work with the players again on the pitch, to speak in detail about the one or other, and this was what we were able to do. Obviously, it was good for Teemu, for example, to have another full week of training, because before the last game he only had a couple of training sessions, and this was why it was important for us to have this week together.
When you have a week, do you find yourself, as in a full week to train, do you find yourself reflecting a little bit more than perhaps you get the opportunity to do when there's kind of a midweek match day?
Yes, normally yes, but I think we said to ourselves, now we had a block of this 5 games in 2 weeks. We've done this quite well, so we leave it behind us, and now we look forward to the next block, the next 4 games before the international break, and the first one is Millwall. Very excited opponent, very big challenge which we have in front of us, and this is why we very quickly went forward to the Millwall game to analyze and to find out what we can do against them, how we can cause them some problems.
Yeah, and you mentioned this game, which I'll probably come back to a little bit later, but having a full week, I guess, allows you to put more preparation solely onto this game, which obviously they haven't been afforded because they did have a game in midweek.
Yeah, this is the challenges which you sometimes face. Sometimes you have a few days more to prepare, sometimes not. I think everybody is used to it.
You mentioned Teemu Pukki. I think this weekend he can make his 200th appearance for Norwich City. I mean, that's similarly to Max Aarons, but I guess at different stages of their career, but still a massive achievement to do that at one football club.
Yeah, absolutely. 200 in general experience for a club is just great, and if you see his numbers as well in terms of goals and assists, it makes it even greater. So as I said that before, I'm very happy to have him in my team. I'm very happy to work with him, and I'm really looking forward for the next games which we have together, first and foremost Millwall.
How difficult is it for a player to not just play 200 games in what is about 5 years or so, which is quite a lot of games, but also to do it with some of the importance that he's had to this team? I think he's been the top scorer in every season since he signed for the club. I mean, he's been such an important part of what this club has been in the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely, and you should not underestimate if you are international like he is, then in the international breaks you have to travel, you have to play important games, competitions as well. So the breaks which you have psychologically, mentally and physically are not huge, and then to be so focused, perform week in, week out is something very special, and he deserves all the credit which he gets.
Yeah, and I guess from your perspective, a massive boost to have him back and have a week with him to kind of get that freshness back into him that maybe you felt that he'd lost a couple of weeks or so ago.
Yeah, I said this I think a few weeks ago. I think every manager in the world will be happy if a fit Teemu Pukki is available and healthy and fit. So it's the same for me. So I'm very happy, even if I have to say that the players have done it very well. When he was not able to play, was not able to start. One game we decided that he comes from the bench because he was not on the freshest energy level, on the highest energy level. But the games where he not were involved, all the guys who then got their start or their subs, they helped to get the results over the line which we collected. And now he is back in the group, and we're all together very happy.
Big game this weekend, as you mentioned. When you have a game like this where there's perhaps a lot of external focus on it from supporters who probably really relishing it, but also probably slightly nervous for it as well. I mean, how do you approach that with the players? Do you lean into that slightly? Do you make them aware of the feeling outside, or is it just purely focusing on what it is essentially?
No, obviously, yes, we are, first and foremost, we are focused on a football match, and we are very focused on ourselves, like always. But it's obviously that when I've heard you have 3,000 away supporters which follow you, the highest number of the whole season, only this excites you, where then the opponent is not as important as it is, because you have 3,000 away supporters. Now, obviously, the opponent is important, like Millwall, because they play a certain style, very direct, very physically, and we have to make us ready for this challenge which is in front of us. And obviously then that there are not a lot of points in between the teams makes this challenge even more exciting, and we are really looking forward to this game. So you like to, as a professional, which we all together are, you like exactly this challenges, home or away, against opponents which are in and around you, and this is exactly what we face, and we are really looking forward to it.
You can obviously affect sort of the tactical side and the structural side and the way the team sort of goes into the game. How do you go about affecting the mental side and ensuring that mindset and that mentality, that expectation about the sort of expectation is there? How do you make sure that the mental approach going into a game like this is correct?
To be fair, the mental approach is it different when we play against an opponent at home, which maybe is in the bottom three? No. So the expectation which you have is to perform on your highest level, and obviously then hopefully to get a positive result. So this means it's for me personally, it's more or less exactly the same. The difference is, as I said, we have such a great away support. Hopefully we can feel the energy and get something out of this energy, pay back the energy which we have from the stands. And then obviously it's because it's Millwall. So and this is which maybe makes it a little bit more exciting. But in general, the mentality to be focused on yourself, to try to do your best to perform on the highest level and to win a football match or to be successful is there every week.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of mentioned Millwall, and I think stereotypically in the Championship it is a place where people kind of go, I don't really want to go there. I mean, they haven't lost a game there since September. This all adds to kind of this sense of challenge that you've got this weekend, and I guess probably the excitement that you have about facing that particular challenge.
I haven't known the stats, to be fair, but this even makes it more interesting if I now know that they haven't lost since September. So we are really looking forward to it. We really are desperate to play this game. We really like to challenge ourselves against them, and like always, home away, winter, summer, spring, whatever, we have to make sure that we are focused on ourselves, perform on our level, make a lot of our stuff, our principles right, and try to cause them some problems as well.
Just a few more from me. Another kind of statistic, but Norwich don't have the best record against teams in the top 10 this season. I think it is only 2 wins against teams in the top 10. I think it's Millwall and Sunderland, which is the next 2, maybe helpfully. But how do you go about sort of changing a record like that, and how important is a record like that? Does it have any onus on anything that happens between now and the end of the season?
So even this test I haven't known. So now you see how interesting I am stats. So all the stats which you deliver me are there to get proven wrong and to make it better. So if we would have won, I don't know how many of the games against the top 10, it would be no difference. So we thank you that I know it now, but it doesn't change our approach, to be fair.
Good. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about players who maybe have, like Gabby Sarah, who've been playing very well. How important of your experienced players being Kenny McLean, Grant Hanley, Ben Gibson, even since he's come in? It feels like you've maybe got some sort of maybe more under the radar improvement out of those type of players as well. How important have they been to kind of what you've been trying to do?
First and foremost, I have to say they are top professionals, and they made it for me personal and for my backroom stuff very easy to settle in. And to be fair, if somebody thinks they performed under the radar, individual performance wise, then normally I have to say they didn't follow the games right, because Kenny McLean, I think he played so consistently on a high level, on a top level, in ball possession, without ball possession. So he has everything. He has the aggression against the ball. He's a real fighter, but in ball possession he has all the awarenesses, the vision which you need to play the important balls, long ranges, short ranges, and what Grant is delivering since day one, this front foot defending, which maybe was a little bit unknown to him, but how he has done it, how he adapted, how brave he is to play out from the back, what I asked, how brave he is to defend forward, how aggressive he is. So the only thing what both need is a goal. Okay, Grant was very close in Coventry with his own goal. It looked like a goal, but it wasn't. This is the next step which they maybe can add, but I'm very, very pleased with everything what they delivered. And Gibbo, after he had a difficult start with his injury, and then obviously, okay, this wasn't difficult. It was great to get a baby, but then he was not able to train as well. So he didn't has a consistency in training. But now, after he had this consistency, I think the first two starts which he now had, plus the 45 minutes which he had in Bristol, he really has shown that he is a very reliable player. So I'm very, very happy with this three senior players in our squad.
Yeah, there are obviously plenty more in terms of experience, but I imagine when you were first kind of assessing the squad and you realise you've got Championship title winners who have had a lot of appearances at this level, it feels, I guess, I don't know if dream's the right word, but as a coach, it's probably a really nice situation to walk into, to have those players that you know the group can lean on a little bit in the moments maybe that are going to be tough coming ahead. Yeah,
I know where you come from, but the truth is, and this is the most important thing, and to be fair, all three of them, they have this, what they have done in the past, even the successful things, and this counts for me as well, it's in the past. You have to confirm. You have to do it again. You have to show it again. You have to show the hunger, the desire to do it again. Because anything else, who cares? What was in the past? How often you have won promotion, or how many caps you have, how many goals you scored in the past? It's done. So, but to have the hunger. To really be greedy, to have this feeling again, to be again where you were. This is exactly what these guys have, and this is why obviously it makes them to some great professionals. But as I said, we all together have to do it again.
Yeah, and just final one from me. I mean, you've obviously mentioned the 3,000 fans that are coming down on a few occasions. It's nice to have an away game that is not about 5 hours long in terms of on the road. But in terms of that support, and obviously we've spoken about the challenge of this game, that feels really significant for you guys to sort of go with that significant and that number of fans with you. I mean, what's kind of your message to them ahead of this weekend and the role that they can play?
I think they send it already, the message, when I hear the numbers of 3,000. So they will not be there and be silent and have the hands in their pockets. So they will celebrate. They will show noise. I'm for 100% sure, and they will do everything like we will do to get a positive result. And this energy which they have shown, to be fair, in all the away games which we now together had, was great. Obviously, Saturday it will be even greater because 3,000, I think it's more than double what was the most away support which we had so far. And this is what we will see and what we will hear. And this gives you a boost. This is the truth. This is exactly how it is. And hopefully we can show this from the first second.
Good stuff. Thanks, David.
Thank
Good
you.
luck Saturday.
Hey David, I did just want to, I know kind of threw the statistic at you, but the idea that Norwich haven't beaten any of the top teams, do you have a theory on why that may be? I mean, at times there've been teams who obviously are desperate to get back into the Premier League, and then people start questioning whether the hunger is here for a team that has already had 2 relegations and have had to deal with that, which not many teams have had to do. So do you have any theories on why it's just proven difficult maybe up until this point? And I appreciate you weren't here for a lot of that.
No, I don't have a really explanation. But to be fair, I think the table is so close. This week, these are the top 10 teams, and 2 weeks' time, there are 5 other teams in the top 10, and maybe then the stats looks totally different. I have no idea. But to be totally honest, I'm not really interested in it. If Millwall would not be in the top 10, we would travel to Millwall and we want to perform on our highest level and like to get a result as well. So this doesn't change our mindset if it's a top 10 team or not. If it's, as I said, home or away, it's all about make sure you are totally focused, make sure that you can get your identity on the grass, that everybody sees, okay, this looks like a Norwich City team, and hopefully if this is the case and we perform on our level, we can get a result as well.
Cracking. I did want to, you mentioned Kenny, mentioned Grant and Ben. I did want to ask you about Andrew on the Valladolid, because he's played a bit, he's been out a bit as well, and obviously Ben is back now too. He's a player who's so highly regarded, obviously has so much potential. Maybe possibly at times there's been an expectation of him to get there almost quicker than maybe he is able to, because there's, this is I think his first probably full season because he had a lot of injuries last year. What have you made of what Andrew has brought and sort of where he's at, I suppose, at the moment?
Now, once I arrived, to be fair, he started and he played consistently very well. So he's a real talent, a real centre-back talent. I think he has still a lot of space to improve, and we had some very good, clear, honest conversations about it, and he's very open-minded to work on this, to come even to a top level. I think there were a period where after so many games which he had, so many starts which he had, where he was a little bit tired, and this was where we made the decision, come on, Gibbo now is back in training, fresh, mentally fresh as well, and this is why we changed it. And obviously then Gibbo played very well. So I have a good competition. We have a good competition on the centre back position. Everybody pushed his competitor to another level. This is what is the case, and this is how it should be. So Andy is a real centre back. Not only talent, he already is a centre back, but a young one with space of improvement where we will work with him. And as I said, I was very pleased with him when he played.
I'm sure the conversation will remain private, but when you look at him as a player, what are the things you really like about him, but also what are the areas where you can see all that room for improvement?
Yeah, the conversations are private, but what I can say is what I liked is that he judged himself right. And this is I think one of the most important thing which you have to have as a talented player if you like to improve and if you like to get better, that you judge yourself right. If you think you are the superstar and you aren't, then you have a problem. And this is exactly what Andy is not. He judged himself right, and he knows exactly the areas where he has improvement and he works on it, and he will make some further steps. I'm 100% sure.
Fantastic. Josh, is he available for the weekend? Is he close soon?
Yeah, he is close, but I think not close enough for Millwall.
Okay, but then maybe hopefully for the following weekend. So that's good. And finding John Rowe, there are a few players. I think Sam Byram, Shenwick, I think you mentioned as well, Isaac Hayden. I mean, they're all due back, I think, quite a time in the future. But in terms of an update of where they are they progressing as would be? And I guess, do you see them much, or is that mostly happening in the sidelines?
No, for sure they are progressing, and I see them more or less every day in the building. But it's not serious to give a time frame on this on the 3 players, because I can't give a serious time frame at the minute. If this is the case, I will let you know, but at the minute I can't give a serious time frame on that.
But they're all in a good place and on there.
Yeah, and they are progressing, and they are working tireless day in, day out in the gym with our fitness department, medical department as well. But I can't give a time frame when they will be back in contention.
That's fine, I can appreciate that. Thank you very much, David. Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.